What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome back to my channel. I have wrapped up my schedule preview and record prediction videos. We are moving on, and I'm going to be giving you my top 10 players in various positions. What better position to start with than the most important position on the field in the quarterbacks? These guys control the game, and there are lots of great quarterbacks this year, lots of guys returning, lots of guys transferring to new locations, and there's a lot of potential in this year's quarterback class. Lots of young guys that impressed last year who I have a couple of them on this list. It was overall really, really hard to put together this list. There were lots of guys definitely in contention, lots of guys that deserve to be on this list. But this is my opinion of the top 10 quarterbacks that we're going to see in 2020. And it starts with the young sophomore Jayden Daniels from Arizona State. This man absolutely blew the doors off my opinion of him. As a freshman, I did not think he was going to do as well as he did. He looked almost 3,000 passing yards with 17 passing touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Only 2 interceptions. He was really, really smart with the football with a 61% completion percentage and a 149.2 passer rating. Absolutely insane numbers. Can also run the football if he needs to. 355 rushing yards with 3 rushing touchdowns. Jayden Daniels blew away my expectations of him last year. He is losing his top guy, Brandon Ayuk, but Frank Darby is still going to be there. He is really, really good as well. And an Arizona State team that is only trending up in an offense that wasn't terribly great last year, but Jayden Daniels had a lot of their production. He, of course, is coming back, and I think just going to play above expectations yet again as a sophomore and an Arizona State system that is also only improving. I really like Jayden Daniels this year. I cannot wait to see what he ends up doing in 2020, and he's at number 10 for me. At number 9, I have Tanner Morgan of Minnesota. So the Golden Gopher had a breakout season last year under PJ Fleck. Absolutely insane breakout season. 3,253 passing yards with 30 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Was smarter with the football than he usually was, 66 completion percentage, and a 178.7 passer rating, which is crazy. That is crazy high. Not really a runner. Did have a rushing touchdown last year, but loves to sit back in the pocket and throw. He had 2 great wide receivers last year in Tyler Johnson and Rashad Bateman. Of course, Tyler Johnson is going to be leaving, but Rashad Bateman is coming back, and I have heard that Minnesota is a likely landing spot for J.D. Spielman, who is trying to transfer out of Nebraska. And Minnesota sounds like a good fit for him. And if Minnesota can get J.D. Spielman, I think Tanner Morgan jumps up a spot or 2 on this list. But overall, I expect him to have another really, really good season in a Minnesota team that I overall expect to have a really, really good season. But Tanner Morgan impressed me last year. Big reason why Minnesota was as good of a team as they were. And again, gets one of his top guys back. That's absolutely huge. I think he's going to have another 3,000-yard season. That's why Tanner Morgan's at number 9. All right, so at number 8, I have Derek King. He was the quarterback at the University of Houston, but got hurt last year and has since transferred to Miami, which I think is a great move. I think Derek King is going to fit in really, really well at Miami. Miami's had a lot of quarterback questions in the past. They had got transfer quarterback Tate Martell last year. He didn't really perform out. N'Kosi Perry was in there. He was kind of okay, but Miami overall underplayed the expectations. I think getting Derek King is absolutely huge. He got hurt last year, so we're going to look at his 2018 stats. 2,982 passing yards with 36 passing touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. Not to mention what he did on the ground, 674 rushing yards with 14 rushing touchdowns. If you're counting at home, that's a total of 50 touchdowns responsible for that Houston team. That was really, really good. Derek King didn't really play a lot last year, again, because of the injury and other circumstances. But if he can get back to his 2018 form in Miami, oh boy, Miami is going to be a very, very, very dangerous team. He's got lots of great weapons around there that he can use and a defense that is reliable along with a pretty darn good offensive line. Derek King, for me, is at number 8 if he can get back to 2018 form, which I believe that he definitely is going to do. All right, that at number 7, I have Jamie Newman of Georgia. So He transferred from Wake Forest to Georgia. And I know the argument here, before you sound off in the comment section, the argument here is going to be, well, Jamie Newman didn't play that well in big games. He does not have the talent at Wake Forest that he's going to have at Georgia. Georgia has so much better wide receivers and so many better weapons and a way better coaching staff. Kirby Smart is going to whip this guy up in the shape. And he still had a really, really good season overall. 2,868 passing yards, 26 passing touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Just got to be a little bit smarter with the football, but was kind of thrown in last year. Expected to be really, really good this year. Proves that he can run the football as well. 574 rushing yards with 6 rushing touchdowns. But it was a big reason why Wake Forest had a really, really good passing attack, and was a big reason why Wake Forest was as good as they are. I totally would watch out for Georgia with Jamie Newman because although, I'm going to say it again, he didn't play that well in big games last year. He did not have the talent of Wake Forest that he's going to have at Georgia. I'll say it as many times as I need to, but I really do think Jamie Newman is going to be the quarterback that Georgia is looking for, and the missing piece for Georgia to finally become a contender like they were about 2 or 3 years ago, I believe. I didn't think Jake Fromm was all that special, and I think Jamie Newman is going to turn this Georgia program and give it, I think that Jamie Newman's going to give this, take this Georgia program a step up, and that's why Jamie Newman's at number 7. At number 6, I have Brock Purdy. He is the quarterback for the Iowa State Cyclones and had a really impressive 2019. Basically 4,000 passing yards with 27 passing touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Could be a little bit smarter with the football, but overall, I really, really like Brock Purdy. He's proved he can run the football, had 8 rushing touchdowns last year. Overall, compiled a 151.1 passer rating, which is absolutely phenomenal. Brock Purdy's a quarterback I really like, a sneaky Heisman contender in my opinion as well, and an Iowa State team that I overall really like. Yes, the wide receivers for Iowa State need help, but he is surrounded by 2 of the best tight ends in college football, and Chase Allen and Charlie Kohler. Brock Purdy is going to have another monster season. I would not be surprised if he lifted this Iowa State team close to a Big 12 title, or maybe if Brock Purdy even got 4,000 yards like he almost did last year. I think the Iowa State Cyclones really do rely on Brock Purdy, and I think he's going to have another terrific season. That's why he is at number 6. So at number 5, I have the quarterback for USC, which is Jayden Daniels. He was kind of thrown in there as a freshman last year. About 3-4 games in, they had a lot of quarterback trouble. But now he is the man because Jayden Daniels has transferred out. He has also gone to Georgia. And he is going to be the man at USC. And you look for his stats last year, he's another freshman that's going to be a sophomore this year. 3,502 passing yards with 30 passing touchdowns and 9 interceptions. That 9 interception mark will go down, in my opinion, because he's going to make smarter decisions. He got some experience, and although he is losing his top guy in Michael Pittman, he still has guys like Tyler Vaughns and Amon-Ra St. Brown that really can make a difference on this USC team, in a USC offense that I think is going to be one of the most explosive in college football this year. And one stat, I think the stat on this a list that really jumps out to me, there are 2 of them. 72% completion percentage for a freshman is crazy, and 167.6 passer rating is absolutely phenomenal. Jayden Daniels is going to be very, very good next year in a USC team that's also going to be much, much improved. I can't wait to watch Jayden Daniels in 2020, and he is my number 5 quarterback. And number 4, I have Sam Ehlinger out of Texas University. So the Longhorns are a team that we've said, are they back? Are they back? Are they back? Yes, I believe that they are finally back, and it starts with Sam Ehlinger. You look last year, 3,663 passing yards with 32 passing touchdowns, 10 interceptions, which is still more than I expected from him last year, but I do expect that number to go down this year. Also proved he can run the football, 663 rushing yards with 7 rushing touchdowns. The Texas offense really does flow through him, and although he is losing his top guy, Devin Duvernay, he is getting a transfer from Michigan in Tariq Black, who is still really, really good. Definitely going to be able to step in there and replace Devin Duvernay. Texas has also got some good guys there on the offensive line, lots of good weapons that are going to surround Sam Ehlinger and Tariq Black. Now, Tom Herman hasn't impressed quite yet, but I feel like this year is the year that Texas finally ends up getting back to close to their former glory. They got a hard schedule, but Sam Ehlinger is going to have a really, really good season. He is one of the favorites to win the Heisman, and that's why he is at number 4. So the number 3, I have Sam Howell, and this is my surprise. Well, maybe a little bit of you, but Sam Howell, I really liked Sam Howell last year. I thought Jayden Daniels impressed me as a freshman. Sam Howell last year absolutely blew the doors off everyone's opinion of him at North Carolina. He was terrific under Mac Brown, 3,641 passing yards with 38 passing touchdowns and only 7 interceptions, rounded out to a 160.2 passer rating, which is crazy for a freshman. Not really a runner, only 35 rushing yards with 1 rushing touchdown. So does like to throw the football, and he's got good reason to. He's got really good wide receivers and a really, really good offensive line that is basically returning its entirety. Sam Howell is going to be really, really good next year. I have high expectations for Sam Howell and North Carolina, and that's why Sam Howell is at number 3. 2 and 1 were very, very close, but at number 2, I'm going to go ahead and put Trevor Lawrence of Clemson. He is one of the favorites to win the Heisman, and ever since his starts in 2018 has been absolutely phenomenal. Won a title for them in 2018. They were pretty darn close to a title in 2019, just lost to LSU. You look at his stats last year, 3,665 passing yards with 36 passing touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He threw a lot of interceptions early in the season, but made lots of adjustments and made some way better throws later in the season, and overall compiled 66% completion percentage and a 166.7 passer rating. Proved that he can run the football as well. Of course, had that big run against Ohio State in the playoff semifinal, and overall in the season had 563 rushing yards with 9 rushing touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence is a guy that is losing his top target in Justin Ross, but is still surrounded by great talent like Joseph Ngata, lots of other great wide receivers over there at Clemson, and also has one of the best running backs in college football behind him in Travis Etienne, with a pretty darn good offensive line too. I don't know if you've heard, Clemson's pretty darn good, and it all starts with Trevor Lawrence, the man holding the football, holding all the power in his hands. He is going to be absolutely phenomenal next year. But I had to give the number 1 spot to Justin Fields. I just had to. You look at what he did last year and you look at what Ohio State's got. Justin Fields is going to be absolutely insane next year. As I just mentioned, he is part of the Ohio State University. Look at his stats last year, 3,273 passing yards, 41 passing touchdowns, one of the highest in the nation. Only 3 interceptions, too. He made really, really smart throws with the football. Overall compiled 67% completion percentage and a 181.4 passer rating, which is crazy. That's, I think, the highest on this list. Also, we knew he could run the football, but 484 rushing yards with 10 rushing touchdowns. Didn't run the football as much as people expected him to, but overall still ran the football really, really well. Justin Fields, and I'm an Ohio State fan, Justin Fields blew my expectations through the roof. He was absolutely phenomenal. He is losing KJ Hill, Benjamin Victor, and Austin Mack, but what they have coming back is still really, really good. Chris Olave's coming back. Garrett Wilson's coming back. They're bringing in lots of great wide receivers, Mookie Cooper, G. Scott, Julian Fleming, Jackson Smith, and Jibba, all guys that are going to have an impact. Justin Field has a lot to throw to. Jeremy Rucker is also coming back. And they have a pretty darn good offensive line too. Ohio State and Justin Fields is you're gonna have to watch out for them next year. One of the favorites to win the national championship, and Justin Fields is also one of the favorites to win the Heisman. And after Clemson and Trevor Lawrence lost Justin Ross, I had to give the number 1 spot to Justin Fields, just returning so much. And Justin Fields, if he can only improve from what he did last year, he's going to be absolutely insane and is my top quarterback for 2020. All right, that's going to do it for my top 10 quarterbacks for 2020. And if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like on this video. Also consider subscribing if you are brand new to the channel, or just enjoy my content and join Tailgate Nation. And if you haven't done so already, please leave a comment down below and tell me your thoughts on the quarterbacks in 2020. And give me your top 10 if you'd feel like. And as always, until next time, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. I'll see y'all in the next video. Goodbye.